Hey, what's up guys? Chip Walters here, and today we're going to talk about how we can create inserts using KitOps in Blender. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to the beta testers that helped me with Definitely Eevee Definitive Interiors courseware up on Gumroad. It's a course that can help you learn how to use Eevee when rendering inside of the new Blender 2.8. These beta testers were extremely helpful in helping me find just the right combination of speed, information, and technical level for the tutorial. If you want to learn more about the courseware, you can check it out at gum.co/Eevee. Now, one of the great things about these beta testers is I asked them if they wouldn't mind creating some objects for KitOps. And if they did, I would show them how to turn those objects into KPack inserts in KitOps. And that way they can use them whenever they want to add features to interiors. So let's get started. First off, you should know that KitOps is an add-on for Blender and Blender 2.8, and that's the version we're going to be talking about today. This add-on allows you to do massive, non-destructive, hyper-detailed kit bashing on virtually any object that you have in your scene. So let's talk about how this works. With KitOps, you can start with the cube and you can start adding inserts, and the inserts will actually cut their way or add components onto the object that you're working with. And in architecture, we can do that with doors and windows, as well as chairs, lamps, and other architectural elements. One thing to keep in mind is that only KitOps Pro has the ability to create inserts. So notice right here, we can actually create them using the factory mode. It also has some other features like mirroring, duplicating, repeat duplicating, alignment, and smart delete. Those are other features that KitOps Pro has that the free version does not have. Currently, the free version is not yet out for 2.8 because we're still in the beta mode. Once KitOps Pro becomes released, we will then release the KitOps free version. So as many of you probably know, in order to access KitOps, we just go up here and we'll click on the tab. Over here, if we don't see that, we just type in the N for the numeric panel or hit this little arrow popping out right there. So now we have a list of all of our KPacks here. So these are actually folders, and inside here, we will find an insert that works, right? So that's showing our inserts working. So what we want to do now is we want to be able to get into that factory mode. How do we get into the factory mode to create these inserts? Well, it's really simple. KitOps is very smart in this regard. If I go into preferences and I look in here, I notice that I have two different master folders. If I hold the Alt key down, it's going to open up a window showing that master folder. And here it is. Here's the master folder. And this is the way KPack inserts are organized, right? We have all of these folders. Each one has a series of blend files in it. And for each blend file, there's also a thumbnail associated with it. What we're going to do is we're going to create another folder that's a new master folder, and in there we're going to put another set of folders that we can use for KPack. In our case, we'll probably just use one. So let's take a look at that now. So here I have a folder I've created on my D drive called temp, and we can create a new folder, and we're going to call that one Chip Master. You can call it anything you want, and I'll double click on it, and now I'm going to create a KPack folder. I'm going to call this new folder KPack-test. And that's where we're going to store our insert files, is in KPack test. So now we're back in Blender and we want to add that to our list. So we go to our add-ons. Again, we type in the word kit up here and we will find the KitOps, and we'll go into the file path, and you can see we already have two different master folders. We're going to hit the plus sign. We're going to add a third one. Now that I've navigated to this temp folder, you'll notice that here's our KPack test. I don't want to make this my master folder. I need to go up. I need to make this master folder. I always put the name master in it because I want to make sure I don't get confused. This has to be the master folder, not the KPack test. So once you're in here, you'll select it and you'll say accept. And in here it says Chip Master. And now we hit the save preferences and we're good. Now all I need to do is go in here, select all, X, delete. I'm going to add a UV sphere, and I'm going to save this as in my KPack test. I'm going to call this insert test. I can name this anything I want, of course. And notice all of a sudden this interface up here has changed, and we're now in KitOps factory mode. Now let's see if this is actually working. I'm going to move this up a little bit until I can see the Blender shortcut that I have here, and I can double click on this, or if I have it on my start bar, I can use the middle mouse button, the scroll wheel, and click on the icon. So either one of these will launch a new version of Blender. There's a way to do it on Mac OS and Linux too, but I'll leave it up to you to figure that out, as I think it might involve some kind of command line hack. I'm not sure what. So now we're in here. Delete this. I'll go into my KitOps, and we're going to look over here, and look, there's our KPack test. We don't have any icon for it, but if I add the insert now, You'll notice I got that error message, and what that error message told me is that there weren't any KitOps properties attached to this file. And the reason for that is that I really need to go in and toggle some buttons here, and then we will save it. I'm going to leave auto parent off. This is the main object. Now I'll go in and I'll do a save. I'll come back over to this file and notice that I'm bringing my Blender preferences in, because if I don't refresh the file path, I will end up using the exact same file. So I'm going to click here, hit the refresh button. Now I've got these KPACs refresh. I hit the add to insert, and now it works. So you can see that this works. We don't have a thumbnail for it yet. We're going to get to that in just a minute. So to review, I've got two instances of Blender open. This one is in the regular mode, where we can add inserts as we wish. And this one is in our factory mode. So I'm going to toggle back and forth. The workflow looks something like this. We create our inserts in this mode, we save them, we go back to Blender, we refresh, and then we test the insert again. So that's an important concept. We have two instances of Blender open, one in factory mode, one in insert mode, and we can toggle back and forth in order to test our inserts. Okay, I'm back in insert mode, and one thing we need to point out is that the only thing that you want in your insert scene is your object data. And here we have this sphere. There's no lights, there's no cameras. It's only your object data. So one of the things I do is I like creating a file and then saving it, doing a save as, and we're going to call this one cube-01, and I'm going to delete this and Shift A and mesh and cube, and make sure that I toggle the data on and say save. And now I'm going to go back in here, and this is a brand new scene. As you can see, I'm going to stretch this out a little bit so we can see. We'll go into KitOps, we'll go under our KPAC test, and if we look, we only have one file, and it's the insert test. What happened to our cube file? That's because we did not refresh. So I'm going to go into preferences, scroll down, hit this refresh button. Now if I click here, you see I've got two files, cube1. So I add the cube1 here and say add insert. You'll see that it sticks it over here. I can scroll the mouse wheel to go, and let's look at the other one. We're going to add, click on here, we'll add this insert. Again, we can scroll the mouse wheel to make it larger. Notice where it's adding it. It's adding it directly from the object origin of the inserts. Let's go back into our factory mode. I'm going to quickly move the object origin to the bottom of it. And the way I'll do that is I'll take tab, go into mesh, and we're going to say snap cursor to selected. We'll tab out, we'll go into object, set origin to 3D cursor. Now we've moved the origin to the bottom of the box. I'm going to hit save. I'll come back in here. I'm going to actually go in here and hit the X key and delete this. Select this box. Again, I'm going to go into our preferences window, and I'm going to leave this open now. I'm going to hit refresh. I'll move it to the side, and we'll add the insert, the cube insert. So we'll hit this, and now, as you can see, it's going to snap to whatever side of this selected object that we have. So that's a critical concept, is that the origin of the main object is what is going to control the snapping position in KitOps. So I'm back in factory mode, and I want to actually create a thumbnail for this. As you can see, I've already given it a color material, which is just a yellow color, and I'll hit this render thumbnail button, and it'll go off at this point, and it'll create a thumbnail for me. So now if I go back into my folder, which is this KPAC test folder, you'll see that I have over here a thumbnail, and I really don't get any control over the centering of that image or the scale of that image. In fact, it's automatically done for you. But there are some things that you can do if you don't like that. So let's go back to our factory mode, to under window, toggle the system console. I'm going to move this up so we can see what's going on here. I'll move this down. So when I hit the render thumbnail, you'll see that it tells you down here that we're rendering and that we're finished. The other thing I can do is if you hold your mouse button over the render thumbnail button, you'll see that it says with the shift key down, you can import a thumbnail scene, and with the control key down, you can render all thumbnails for the current working directory. So what I'm going to do is I want to set this up so I can adjust the actual rotation and scale of this. And to do that, I'll hold the shift key down and I'll click render thumbnail. And now it pulls in this new scene. And here's the scene. And you'll see I've got a bunch of stuff in here with like a sphere and some other things, which I don't really want. And the reason they're in here is because these are remnants from a past scene I rendered. So to fix this, I'm going to go revert, revert. So the point here is that anytime you render a thumbnail, it's always a good idea to revert. So we're going to do this again. I'm going to hold the shift key down, and I'm going to click on here, and now here we have our new setup. And this is, as you can see, the actual origin of this is now set below the actual visual plane. If I hit the 0 key on my numpad, that's the render we're going to have. So what does this tell us? Well, let's go back and revert. This says that even though I have the origin here, I probably want to move everything to the 0, 0 spot for rendering purposes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. The easiest way to do that is go under Snap Cursor to World Origin, and then with the object selected, say Snap Selection to Cursor. Now that we have that done, I'm going to Control S to save it, and now hold the Shift key down, hit Render Thumbnail, and there is our color. And I'm going to actually now hit the S key, scale it down, use the transform controls to position it where I want to, click on the Render Thumbnail, go back here, and you'll see that our thumbnail is now updated. So let's talk about batch rendering. Batch rendering is a special case where we create thumbnails for every single blend file in a KPack folder. So what are we talking about? So here we have our cube and our insert test blend files. The blend 1 files, the batch will ignore. Now we're back into our factory mode in our Blender scene. One thing that we need to make sure of, there are no other collections other than the scene collection for our insert. And this is kind of a good policy anyway, because KitOps will automatically organize the files as they're inserted. So if we look at this file, we'll notice there's only the sphere in this scene collection. And if we open the recent cube, we'll see the same thing. So it's simple to create a batch mode render. We will hold the control key down, click on the render thumbnail, and down here it'll tell us that it's rendering. One thing that we may see is an error pop up, but that error won't affect the actual batch rendering. Let's go back and look at the actual files. Here they are. There's our sphere and there's our cube. One thing it's important to note is that this 2x2 size is the actual automatic centering area for our batch render. I'll take this object and I'll scale it down, and now our thumbnail should look better because it's going to center everything based on this 2x2 region right here in the middle. It'll try and scale things in that space. The problem with this, I'm going to hit the render thumbnail button, and when we go back to our render, you'll see it's exactly the same. And why is that? It's because if we look at our numeric properties, we have a scale factor set here. So in order for this to work, and in fact in order for KitOps to work, we can't have any scales or rotation numbers off here. Scale needs to be at 1, the rotation needs to be at 0. So if I do Control A and apply my scale and then go back to KitOps and hit the render thumbnail, we'll see that it works correctly this time. Keep in mind that if you're trying to build models and you don't care about actual scale, like if you're not doing architectural models where you need to know that a table is going to be 30 inches tall, then it's always a good idea to try and scale these things so that they fit in this 2x2 grid right here. And then, of course, anytime you do that, you're going to want to apply the scale. And another quick example of the scale issue is I'm going to take this and I'm going to scale it down quite a bit and move it up, and I'm going to hit the S button and save it. So now we have this kind of very thin slice of an insert. I'm going to come back here and I'll go in my Blender preferences and I'll refresh this folder, and we'll see that I have this picture up here from my previous thumbnail because I didn't create a thumbnail. I'm going to select this and I'll add insert, and as I add it, notice that it comes in at the 1:1 scale. That shows another example of why you cannot adjust the scale in here and expect it to work as an insert. I always have to go into Object, Apply, Scale, and Rotation if I want to. Now if I save it and I come back here and I delete, then I can refresh, like my object, add an insert, and now it comes in correctly. That's an important concept to keep in mind. Now the next tutorial, I'm going to talk more about these other features like the cutter and the wire and how you can make much more complex objects. So that's what's happening in the very next tutorial.